What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Bourbon of the Week. My name's Chris. I'm going to be your host for today, and today we are picking our top 5 single barrels in our collection. We're going to give you an honorary mention as well, but we're going strictly single barrels only, not single barrel store pick. So let's get into it right now. Here's the deal. This is one of our 4 picks tonight, but you don't know what it is, so this is what we're going to pour up. This is what we're going to drink. I wasn't going to do these in any particular order, but I decided to challenge myself just a little bit and put them in order so everybody knows before we get started. Time for the traditional sip. Cheers, y'all. Damn, that's good. So I wanted to pick a few different factors when I went with my top 5. Obviously, we're sticking with price, taste, drinkability on these. They got to taste good. They got to drink easy. They got to have a good price tag behind them. But I also wanted to throw in availability, and that actually switched up 2 of our positions here. So let's get into bottle number 5 in our top 5 single barrels. That's right. Bottle number 5 in our top 5 single barrels is going to be Evan Williams Single Barrel. This is coming out of Heaven Hill. And the reason I jumped this from number 4 to number 5 is because of availability. This used to be widely released. Now it's going to be a Kentucky only release. So it's going to become very hard to find this bottle. Once they sell out of stock on your shelves, if you're not in Kentucky, you're not going to see this bottle anymore. And I'll tell you why this upsets me just a little bit. Obviously, Evan Williams has seen a lot of success with bottles like Evan Williams Bottled in Bond, as well as Evan Williams 1783. But I still loved having this bottle on my shelf. I would pick it up when I saw it. And I think it's a great marketing thing because everybody went out and bought all of these bottles when they saw them, once they told you it was going to be a Kentucky only release. Now, this bottle does come in at 78% corn, 12% rye, 10% malted barley, and only at $27, which is why it makes our top 5 list. Again, this was just such a good pour for such a good price that you really couldn't beat it. This particular bottle is 8 years, 1 month old. They range between that 7 and 8 year range, being about 8 years at the most. So I love this bottle. I think it deserves to be in everybody's collection, especially for a single barrel. Obviously, you're going to get a little bit of a different flavor profile from barrel to barrel, but at the same time, this bottle was a fantastic pour for only $27. And the one knock that I did have on this bottle is it is only 86.6 proof, the lowest proof of all 5 that we're doing today. I wish it was closer to the 100 proof bottle and bond, but at the same time, you're still getting plenty of those good flavor profiles, vanillas, caramels, a cinnamon, almost like a cinnamon sugary note, and you still get a pretty good oak presence on this as well. So at $27, this is going to be number 5 in our top 5 single barrels. And up next, number 4, I know you're already thinking 2 things here. 1, there's no way this is more readily available than Evan Williams Single Barrel, even if it is a Kentucky only release. And 2, this is a Tennessee whiskey, not a bourbon, and we can debate that another day. Let's get back to point number 1 real quick. While this was only a one-off release and probably more hard to find than Evan Williams Single Barrel, I think everything else this bottle has going for it overall makes it a better bottle than Evan Williams Single Barrel, which is why it has spot number 4 in our top 5 single barrels. Now, these Coy Hills could have ranged from 137.4 all the way up to 148.3. My particular bottle is 142.8, and boy, were they hot. But this ended up winning our March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition for 2021. This is an absolute fantastic bottle. The flavor profile on this is delicious. It's technically hazmat. While some of them are under 140, people still call it hazmat. And I'll tell you an interesting thing. They're actually releasing a small batch version of this, which is genius. Put out the single barrel, make people tell you how much they love it, batch it down, small batch it, and put out 5 different small batches at 5 different proofs. Make people chase every single proof as well. It's just marketing coming out of Jack Daniels that's beyond compare. And we all know the mash bill on this Tennessee whiskey, coming in at 80% corn, 12% rye, 8% malted barley. Once you can get past the heat on this, there's really nothing else like it on the market. Maybe something like a Stag Junior, but at the same time, the flavor profile on this is just exceptional. And at $70, this was an absolute steal if you could have found it at MSRP, which I happen to. If you have the opportunity to buy this in the future or the small batches, I wouldn't pass on them. Again, this is going to be number 4 in our single barrels top 5. That's going to bring us to number 3 in our top 5 single barrels, which is actually what we're sipping on here tonight. I just killed the bottle. This was John J. Bowman, the single barrel version of Bowman Brothers. Now, here's the deal. Bowman Brothers doesn't seem to get as much recognition as I personally think they should. If you're a big Buffalo Trace fan, Bowman Brothers actually sources their product. They're owned by Sazerac, which owns Buffalo Trace. So Buffalo Trace twice distills it, sends it over to A. Smith Bowman. They distill it one more time and age it in their warehouses. They have the Bowman Brothers, which is their small batch version. Then they have the John J. Bowman, which is the single barrel version. Now, rumor has it that A. Smith Bowman is actually going to stop taking product directly from Buffalo Trace and start making it themselves. Now, it's still going to be Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1, but as they expand Buffalo Trace, this is going to allow a lot more distillate to go towards Buffalo Trace product and not be pulled away for something like a Smith Bowman company. So this particular single barrel comes in at 100 proof. It's 50 bucks. It's 9 to 10 years old, and it's almost easy to find. Here in Pennsylvania, it's not on the shelves, at least not the last time I checked. But if you go to New Jersey or anywhere around here, you can usually find John J. Bowman sitting on the shelves at any time. The two things that I love most about John J. Bowman is consistency and balance, right? Buffalo Trace is so good at balancing out their product. You get some spicy, you get some sweet, you get some caramel, you get some oak. You touch on all of the bases. And a lot of people have problems with single barrels because maybe they'll love the first one, but then they don't like the second one so much. John J. Bowman seems to always hit the spot whenever I pick up a bottle. So take all of that into consideration. John J. Bowman is going to be number 3 in our top 5 single barrels, at least in my collection. Let's get to number 2. I think picking out bottle number 2 for me was the hardest in the entire collection because I kind of already had one figured out. 3, 4, and 5 were just a matter of who was going to fall where. And 2 was the hardest because there were a lot of bottles that I think deserved to be kind of up there, but then would fall out of the rankings. But at the same time, we already have an honorary mention in Knob Creek Single Barrel. We've got people who would put Blanton's right now. We've got New Riff Single Barrel making waves in the community. But I had to go with Four Roses Single Barrel, and let me tell you why. Once I actually sat down and thought about it, it kind of became obvious that this had to be number 2 for the simple fact that there are 10 different single barrels coming out of Four Roses Single Barrels. When you take all of the mash bills and all the different yeast strains, you talk about it all the time. This one is OBSK. You can have OBSV. You can have OESK. You can have OESV. I don't know what they all stand for. We do know that O stands for it comes from Four Roses Distillery. We do know that S means it's straight bourbon. So the other 2 are pretty much what you're working with the mash bill as E or B, and then the last letter being the yeast strain. Now the yeast strains can be K, Q, O, F, V. All of these are going to give you different flavor profiles from floral to spicy to creamy to all different kinds of things. So when you pair that with the different mash bills in E or B, you're going to get a different experience with every single one of these bottles, let alone the fact that it's still a single barrel. Now the B mash bill is going to be 60, 35, 5, while the E mash bill is going to be 75, 25. And again, when you pair those with the different yeast strains, it just makes for an experience that anybody will find a bottle that they like within these 10 mash bills. The traditional mash bill, if you just find a standard single barrel and it doesn't have all the wording on the side here for you, is an OBSV. I've had one of those as well. They're fantastic as well. So again, it's just one of those things where you can't really go wrong as long as you find the mash bill that fits your particular flavor profile. Now, I don't like to lie to you guys, so I'm going to tell you the truth. This OBSK wasn't for me. It wasn't my favorite when it came to the Four Roses Single Barrel, but I've tried samples of other mash bills and there are a few out there that are absolutely fire. If you have the opportunity to try all 10, I know you can go to the distillery and try a couple of them. I hope to do that one day and try a few of them that I haven't tried yet. But because of the opportunity to try so many different mash bills coming out of a single barrel from Four Roses, that's why this makes number 2 in our top 5 single barrels. Now, if you made it this far in the video, this is the part where I got to tell you, hit that like and that subscribe button. I appreciate you sticking around. Let's get to our number 1 single barrel in my collection. Cheers, y'all. Listen, if you've been on my channel for any period of time, you knew that Russell's Reserve Single Barrel was going to be number 1 before you even clicked on the video. This is the most consistent, the best tasting, the most available bottle when it comes to a single barrel that checks all the boxes. And it's so good. Again, some of these are store picks. Some of these are just standard single barrels. I haven't gone wrong with the 4 or 5 barrels that I've already had. And this bottle is no different right here. If you don't already know though, this bottle is coming in at the perfect mash bill of 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley, out of wild turkey, $60 on the price tag on this. Everything when it comes to the flavor profile is perfect. You're getting toffee, you're getting caramel, you're getting oak, you're getting spice, you're getting vanilla. Literally, it doesn't miss a mark when it comes to the taste on this. And I love this bottle every single time, every day of the week. I actually hate that I'm this low. I've got to go back out and grab another bottle right now. And while this bottle is non-age stated, it is said to be between 8 and 10 years old, and it's also at 110 proof, which is interesting for Wild Turkey because they actually put their distillate in the barrels at a much lower proof than a lot of other companies at 107 to 115 proof. So this is basically cask strength or barrel strength at 110 proof. So you're getting everything Wild Turkey has to offer in this bottle right here. So for me, Wild Turkey and Russell's Reserve Single Barrel was an easy number 1, but I want to know in the comment section below, what's your favorite single barrel or what's your top 5 list in your collection? But listen, that's where we're going to leave you for today. Make sure you check me out on Instagram. Go click that follow button over there. If you want to help support the channel out financially, check us out on Patreon, link in the description below. Come chat with us 24/7 on Discord, that link in the description below. Please don't drink and drive. Always drink responsibly and stay healthy, stay happy, stay drinking. Cheers, y'all. John J.